Today, I want to dive into how we begin navigating conflict through a somatic lens. Conflict is very fascinating for me because I spent most of my life trying to avoid conflict. I tend toward the avoidant attachment style, which I'm going to get into in a later video. But today, I'm going to talk a bit about conflict and what it's like to actually lean into conflict as a vehicle for deeper intimacy. A couple things I want to speak about is when we're talking about conflict, I'm not talking about abuse. I'm not talking about threat. I'm talking about disagreements, disappointments, and frustrations. So when I'm in conflict with somebody, it's different than that person attacking me or hurting me. That would be an attack or abuse. So just to be very clear as we navigate this together. Conflict is interesting because this physical thing happens in our bodies when we go into it with somebody. I've been teaching about conflict resolution through a somatic lens for years. It's a certain modality I call tending to rupture that I intend to write more about and even train people in. But I've recently, over the last year, moved through several conflicts myself using this method. And, when it's one thing to teach it and to develop it and to write about it, but when you actually get to lean into it yourself and you see how powerful it is, it just, I guess, gives me more faith in the system I created. So I wanted to walk through it with you right now. And I'll begin by saying on October 9th, I'm creating a 6-month, or I'm leading a 6-month relationship group that's going to really dive into this topic much, much more, along with many other topics, including attachment theory through a somatic lens, sexual fawning, communication, and how to find security in yourself so you don't put too much dependency on your partner and drive them away or create anxiety in your own body by needing to depend on them so much. So if you're interested in that, you can look at the link in the episode details, and until August 31st, you can get 10% off the entire program. So visit my website right now. If it's before August 31st, you'll get 10% off. If it's afterwards, it's still a pretty good deal. So let's dive in. So the most important thing to understand is when you go through conflict, you're going to have a stress response and sometimes even a trauma response, which means you become adrenalized. And whenever you become adrenalized, which is the fight flight hormone, adrenaline, you are going to have an increase in blood pressure, muscle tension, narrow mind, which is very important. Your mind is no longer expansive and curious and imaginative, but really focused on one goal, which is to survive. And when you enter a conflict or an argument or a conversation with someone from that traumatized state, you go in trying to win. And when we try to win, we're not connecting. We're not being intimate. We're not even sharing how we feel. We're usually blaming, misnaming somebody, trying to characterize them as something, or even just bulldozing the entire conversation to make someone acquiesce to whatever you need. This is very common when we're in a trauma response or stress response and we're going into an argument or a very important conversation around a conflict with somebody. So the first step is to find ground in yourself first. And the way we find ground in ourselves is to use the environment. So I'm not talking about calling a friend and talking to them about this issue. That can be helpful, but I'm telling you a different way to do it, which is to first feel the chair you're in. And if you're not in a chair or a couch, get into one and have your feet flat on the ground. Have your shoulders pulled up, back, and down, and let your head be held and your spine be held. Just for even 30 seconds, just to feel that you have something supporting you. And this is an important posture and position to be in when you do call this person or you're sitting with them. When you're walking and talking, when you're fidgeting, when your legs are crossed, when you're sitting forward in your chair, you're going to get more tense, and it's actually going to activate you, and it can result in being more adrenalized. So you're going to go into more of that stress place with the individual, which is going to make it very hard to listen to them. It's going to make it hard to speak clearly yourself, and you'll probably end up getting dissociated. And whenever we get dissociated, that's when we shut down or we even go into fight response, and we can be really cruel with people. Or in shutdown, freeze, or fawn, where we don't even really express what we're holding or feeling. We just want to get it over with because it feels so horrible in the body. So first step is always make your body feel settled. And when it's settled, because you're leaning into something, use your eyes to take in things in the room. Notice the windows and what view is outside of them and how settling that might be. Notice the paintings or the plants or the colors of the wall. This is especially important to get that in your body before speaking to this individual, whether they're in person with you or on the phone, because you want to have other resources instead of them, which right now is the source of your stress. That will just stress you out even more. So, starting with this very first important step of somatically experiencing what supports you, what's beautiful, what's safe, helps your body come out of a very common overcoupling, a very common association with conflict, which is feeling threatened. And most of the time, conflict and threat are two different things. Conflict and harm are two different things. Conflict and danger are two different things. So, when your body can feel the chair, take breaths and look around and actually feel the environment and the relative safety of the environment, it will give you so much resourcing to go into the conversation with. The second part is I want you to consider this. Identify the meaning. What does it mean to you? What is the behavior or the situation or the rupture or the conflict? What does it mean to you and where do you feel that meaning? This is super important because the first thing we tend to do is tell the other person what they're doing. Instead, we want to use what the other person did as a catalyst, a catharsis in a way to feel, what did it bring up in me? So I'm using the example of rolling your eyes. You roll your eyes at me. That's what you did. I'm not calling it rude. I'm not saying you don't like me. I'm not deciding what it means for you. I'm saying what happens in my body. When you roll your eyes, I feel a sadness in my chest. My chest feels sad. And when I feel into that sadness, there's this belief that you don't care about me. That's what I hold. So my first step is to somatically experience the meaning, the emotion of this event and where I hold it. So I need to make it about me, not make it about them. This is a very important part of the step or the stage in this modality of tending to rupture, is being able to put the awareness and focus on your body, not on what they did. This is what changes it from an argument into an invitation into intimacy. I'm literally inviting you to feel along with me where I hold pain. It's a very vulnerable thing to do when you really want to like slap or yell at somebody, is to pause and say, I'm actually holding a lot of grief here from this thing we went through. I want to tell you about it. Now, after you identify where and what you're feeling and you share that with the individual, you want to make sure through this whole experience you're pendulating, which means orienting your focus back to that support. So not overly attuning to them or what they're saying or how they're looking at you or imagining, are they believing me? Are they taking this in? Don't think of them. Come back to your chair. Come back to your breath, come back to the view around you. It's even important to educate somebody if they aren't familiar with this, which a lot of people aren't, that while you're talking to them, you're going to need to pause sometimes. And you just say, give me 1 minute, I need to just be with myself. And you put your hands on your chest and belly. A pillow is amazing for this. You can grab a pillow and hug it or press it against your stomach. And just like take a moment to breathe and look around and feel yourself settle. Sometimes you might need to cry, let yourself cry. You just want to educate them that you're being with your body and you're trying to let your body modulate and regulate so that you have more capacity to connect with them and not go into a place of arguing or attacking or accusing. And your partner will really appreciate this, or your friend will really appreciate this when you say, I'm going to take some pauses because I don't want to accuse you or be hard on you. They'll really understand, oh, they're pausing to take care of themselves so we can be in connection. And this is part of making it more a connective practice than an argument or trying to be right or even a debate. So now that you have did the first step of settling into your support and what's safe and feeling that, and then the second step of feeling where you hold the meaning and emotion from it and sharing it with this person, now it's time to assess their capacity. Are they interested? Are they open? Are they feeling you? Do you feel a sense of ease between the two of you? Like they're listening, they're curious, they're open to connecting to this thing you hold. If they are not, meaning they're defensive, they're talking over you, they're looking away, they're huffing and puffing, they're rolling their eyes, these are really strong signals that they're at capacity and they don't have capacity to take you in. If you have these words and they understand these words, it is excellent to share these because you can say something like, you're huffing and puffing right now. Do you need more time with this? Should we talk later? Have you eaten? Should we do this in the morning? It's great to ask your partner or your friend that question of, do they have capacity to do this? And if they don't, fine. Tell me when you do and let's do it another time. If you don't have those words or they're not open to even talking about that, you're getting a clear signal from their body that they don't have capacity for this. If you continue to push or expect someone who doesn't have capacity for you to have capacity for you, you're going to experience more ruptures and more conflict, especially if the individual has the avoidant attachment style. They're going to be pushed away really quick and shut down. Now, I'm not suggesting you walk on eggshells or you beat around the bush with people. I'm suggesting you get to know someone's ability through their capacity based on what they show you. So you can be much more firm, actually, with individuals and yourself of what you expect, how much you put up with in a relationship, and how deep you go with people based on the capacity they show you. Now, let's say they do have capacity. Let's say they are connecting with you. That's when we want to move into the request zone. Making this request is only possible when they are showing they have the capacity. Whether you literally ask them, how are you doing with this? Can I tell you what I need? Can you handle that? Do you have capacity for that? Or they're saying, I want to help you. I want to be here for you. If they're showing you, if they're leaning in, if they're part of this with you, and you feel like, okay, they're sturdy and open to me, then you make the request. But you don't make the request for their behavior to change yet. You don't go into, can you stop rolling your eyes? What you go into first is the request of being with you in the sadness from them rolling their eyes. So this looks like, well, I told you I feel really sad when you roll your eyes because I feel like you don't care about me. Can you just hug me right now? Or can you tell me how you care about me? Or can you hold my hand? Or can you just hear me say that? Does that make sense? Right? You're requesting them to be with this state with you, not to change their behavior. And the reason why we want to do that first is if you can say, I just need a really big hug right now, and for you to reassure me you care about me. And they hug you and they tell you they care about you, and you feel something settle in you, and you start connecting to each other. You have just used conflict as a vehicle for connection. You're using the rupture, the sensations that arise in your body from their behavior, and possibly from yours as well in this situation. You're using those sensations as an opportunity to express them to your partner, or rather, you're using the conflict itself as an opportunity to teach them what your body goes through. It's not their fault you feel uncared for and sad. It's their responsibility they rolled their eyes, but what happened in your body is yours. This is the somatic way that I have designed and experienced in my life to navigate conflict quite beautifully. Because when you hand someone your own feelings, your own state, your own vulnerability, in response to what you experience with them, and you ask them to step into that with you instead of changing who they are or agreeing they were wrong right away, you then soften, you co-regulate together, you find safety together, and then there's more capacity to come out of that reptilian brain, to come out of the narrow-minded, I need to survive this and win, I need to survive the attack. You two come out of that and you have more of your brain and body to work with. Your heart rate settle, your breathing deepens, and now you have imagination. You have shared curiosity. Then you can go into, can we think of ways to communicate so you don't have to roll your eyes? Or can you tell me when you roll your eyes that it has nothing to do with me? It means you're exhausted or overwhelmed. You don't even know it. Would it be okay if I said to you, hey, you're rolling your eyes again. Let's talk later. Right? This is what couples and friends get to do when they have capacity and they're in a settled place outside of their trauma response. They get to co-create the way they connect. They get to relearn how to communicate to each other. They get to learn, and this is my personal favorite, that it's never personal. That when he rolls his eyes, it's not because he hates you, it's because he's overwhelmed. And he hasn't learned how to track his overwhelm and say, I'm overwhelmed, I need a break. When you feel sad and like he doesn't love you, it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because you've had experiences of being left and betrayed and hurt. And so that sadness lives in you and it looks for proof or it looks for it to happen again so you can be prepared and ready so you don't get hurt again. We have these two innocent individuals carrying their own stuff from their own history, and they collide together in intimate relationships. Intimate relationships are some of the most profound places to let your stuff come up, whether you want to or not, so you can work on it together. And when you do it through this lens, no one is right or wrong. It's two people coming together to learn how they affect each other and to learn the other person's body. And then from there, you create a whole new language and way of being through a somatic lens. Again, I'm diving into this for 6 months. Couples are welcome, singles are welcome, thruples are welcome, parents are welcome. Anyone in a relationship with somebody or anyone who wants to deepen or go into relationships with people outside of their trauma response, outside of their codependent strategies, should take this program, this group, this 6-month exploration called Embodied Relationships. It begins October 9th. And right now, up until the 31st of August, you can get 10% off the entire program. Visit the link in the episode details. A pop-up will come up with the code, and you can plug it in and buy it today. If you have any questions or any additional comments, put them in the comments section. I want to hear from you. If you're listening to this on the podcast, hop on over to YouTube and you can join in that conversation. I look forward to seeing you more around these topics as I'm going to be exploring some other relationship pieces over the coming month. So, of course, your questions and comments will help me better decide what I want to talk about because there are millions of things I can talk about when it comes to relationships. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for watching today's episode. Please like and subscribe if you found it useful, and let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next. I have developed a 4-week self-paced course that takes 18 years of my personal and professional experience and puts it into one place where you can easily and quickly learn the foundations of recovering from stress and trauma. How does the food you eat affect your stress levels? How do the relationships in your life create stress or peace? How does the relationship you have with your body allow you to feel happier and more settled? I will cover all this and so much more in this 4-week self-paced course. And the best part, it's self-paced. You don't have to sign up at a certain date or finish it at a certain time. It's yours for life, and it's waiting there for you when you're ready to finish it. Throughout this course, I'll be teaching you philosophies and practices that combine my 3 favorite modalities: somatic experiencing, embodied parts work, and nutrition. For more information on this course, click on the link in my episode details.